I'm not exactly sure where I was at when he asked me to come into his basement, but I went and he preyed on me. So he's a predator, plain and simple. I'm just Candace, and this is my story. So I told you when I spoke to you last that I grew up in the projects. And we had these big sturdy doors, the front doors, and they each had a mailbox on them. And they were held, it was like a metal rim, and they were held on with screws. And somehow we discovered, I don't remember who or when, but we discovered that if you took the nails off and you took that little metal rim off, that opened up the space. Of course, it was a little bigger. And I could take my little skinny hand and put it in, and I could unlock your door. So when people would get locked out, they say, Candy, can you help me get in my house? So I did it for a few people. I did it for my own self also. Anyway, one evening, my neighbor, just 2 doors down, he came and said, Candy, I'm locked out. Can you help me get into my house? And me being the innocent child, yeah, sure. Went on over and he took off the mailbox, the rim, and I put my little skinny hand in there and unlocked his front door. And I remember I was either nervous because he had a little dog named Samson, and I thought, oh, he's going to see me and he's going to jump up and bite me. So I was already nervous. But I did it, and he got in the house. And he said, come into my basement. I want to give you something to give your brothers. Now I want to stop the story right here. I want to stop it. I've often wondered over the years, was he on drugs? What was he thinking? Because he knew what he was about to do. And my brothers would have gave him a beating that he would have never forgotten. So I've often wondered, was he on drugs, or did he take a chance and think she won't tell? She won't tell anyone. And the reason I stopped it here is because I want you to always make sure you let your children know. Whatever they tell you, you're going to believe them and you're going to be there. So I digress. Let's continue. So I go down into his basement, and as soon as I got into his basement, his hands were in my panties and he was touching my genitals. Yeah. And I screamed so loud, I'm telling. It echoed. And I was out of there, just like that. And I scared him because I remember he said, Candy, come back. No, I was gone. And I remember running into my house, and Mom was upstairs. And I thought, I'm going to go tell her. I'm going to tell Mom. I'm going to tell Mom what he did. But I sat on the steps, and I never went up. I never told her. And I want to tell you, I hated him. I hated him with a passion. Yes, I did. He fondled me. He put a dark spot on an otherwise beautiful, flawless childhood for me. He violated my innocence. Yeah. I had dreams about killing this man. And he wasn't even a man, but for me it was so big and it was so large because I was such an innocent little girl. Just an innocent virgin girl. No cares in the world. And I remember thinking, I want to split his head open. And I'm not advocating violence. I'm just telling you how I felt. I'm telling you the trauma that this gave to me. And I was just fondled. But it was still a violation. He preyed on me, and he is a predator. He was a teenage boy. But I was a little girl. The reason I bring it up is because I want to tell you that It took me a long time to work through that. In fact, I didn't tell anyone for 18 years. I was 28 years old when I told my brother and my sister. I was at my apartment in New Haven, Connecticut. I had been gone, left New Britain. And they didn't really know what to say. They didn't really know how to receive that information. They didn't. And I understood. But I'm bringing these things out to make the point, we will talk about it when we're ready. Because we've got a whole movement out there now, and women are coming forward and they're talking about things that happened to them. And Me Too, and it happened to me too, et cetera, et cetera. And I've heard people say, well, why did it take her 30 years to talk about it? You don't tell us when to talk about it. We will talk about it when we're ready. As I said, it took me 18 years. And I brought this up today, and that was my choice. I know some people are going to say, why are you telling all your business? Look, you're not going to know everything about my life in this podcast. Believe that. But you are going to know the things that I choose to share with you. And I'm choosing to share this because if it helps one person seek out healing for themselves, then it was worth it. And besides that, it's not my shame, it's his shame. It's his sin, it's his shame. I was innocent. So I never felt like it was my fault, and nor did I feel like, oh, no one would believe me. I knew my mother would believe me, but I got stuck. I got stuck in that silence and in that trauma. Because for me, it was such a violation that it traumatized me for a long time. And I worked through it, and as I grew and my faith grew, and I remember trying to avoid them. New Britain's a small town, but I remember trying to avoid him at all costs, but I would still see him. And he act like nothing. Nothing had happened, so that made me hate him even more. And I'm saying this today because I know that some of you have suffered a whole lot more than me. I'm not diminishing what happened to me because it was traumatic, but I know some of you have been molested. You've been violated, you've been raped, penetrated over and over, and I know some of you are stuck in some unresolved childhood traumas. I was binge watching My 600-Pound Life a few weeks ago, several episodes, and you're watching people eat themselves to death, literally. They're eating themselves to death. And the real thing is, what's eating them? And when they went to see the psychologists or psychiatrists, because they all have to go into therapy, that's part of the arrangement for most of them anyway, there was a common thread. Most of them had been sexually abused in their childhood. Go back, you can see most of them had been violated as children sexually, and they got stuck. And so this podcast is talking about throw down your baggage. The train is at the station and the train is going to leave, and some of us can't get there because that baggage is weighing us down. It's too heavy. It's too much of a burden to bear. And if I can encourage you tonight to let it go, to put it down, to throw it away, I want to do that. I want to really encourage you. I want to implore you to seek out healing, because I know many of you have not gone on to live the lives that you could have lived because you're stuck. The conductor is calling you. He wants you to get on the train. There is a ticket there, and it will take you anywhere you want to go. Your destination is waiting. Your greatness is waiting. It's right there. All you got to do is get on board, and you got to let down those bags so that can happen. So you can get to that station and move, so you can move on. So I just want to encourage you to know you're not alone. There are spiritual leaders, there are therapists, there are counselors, there are people out there that will help you. And so if you're listening to this tonight and that's what you've been through, please, please let it go. Go get some help and heal that hurt. Don't let it change the whole trajectory of your life. You've got great places to go, people to meet, things to do. You got to get on the train, okay? Please. What else is keeping some of you stuck? Toxic people all up in your head. You know, you're letting them rent space. It's time to evict them. There are people out there, you say the sky is blue, they're going to tell you it's red. You say you're happy, they say no, you're not. There are people that have a problem for every solution. Let me say that again. There are people who have a problem for every solution. They're just negative, and they bring to you toxicity that you don't need. You're just breathing it in, breathing it in. They're killing you. They're crushing your dreams, your goals, your spirit, your happiness. They're stealing your joy. And no one has a right to do that. So you got to let it go. You got to evict them, get them out of your head. You have a right to get on the train and do the things that you were meant to be. You've got skill sets, you've got talents, you've got God-given gifts that you're not using because somebody said you weren't good enough or somebody said you can't do it. Stop believing it. Stop believing it. Believe that you can do it and that you can go on to greatness. And when I say greatness, that means different things for different people. I'm not talking about just going out and conquering the world. Whatever it is that you desire to do that's going to make you fulfilled and happy and joyful, because to me, that's what real success is. But some of you are not even there because you're stuck. You got to let that baggage go. What else is holding you down? Is it the fear of your own greatness? Are you sabotaging yourself? Some of us I think, are fearful of just knowing how great we can be and how much we can accomplish and how far we can go. We can get to the pinnacle of our success. And some of us are afraid. Why are we afraid? It's going to take some hard work, you know, right? We don't want to commit to it. What is it? Or are we still stuck in that feeling that maybe your parents or somebody that you thought loved you told you you couldn't do it? You know, when they tell you you can't do it, you just have to do it. Go do it. Get the courage to chase your dreams. And someone said, well, don't dream. A friend of mine said, don't dream. He said, those are fairy tales. Well, let's put it this way. You can dream something, right? It can be in your head, it can be in your heart, and then you can write it down on paper. Now it becomes a goal, right? Now you're going to think about an action plan. You're going to put that action plan on top of that, and you're going to work it and work it and work it, and now it can become reality. Don't let anybody tell you what you can't do or how to feel about success. That's up to you. What else is keeping you stuck? You in a bad relationship? Does he make you feel less than? Is she beating up on you? You know, when I was a child, I watched my neighbor, she was a heavy-set female. She beat her husband so bad. And as children, we were hiding and watching and laughing because we didn't understand that what we were seeing was domestic violence. And we're going to put the domestic violence hotline number up for you in the credits later, so you can seek out whatever help you need. There are places and people and shelters in place to help you. So is that what's keeping you stuck? An abusive relationship? Run, don't walk. Run. Get away. You have to be able to find the courage to say, this is my life and I'm going to live it, and I'm not going to let anybody destroy it. I'm not going to let anybody hold me down. I'm going to throw those bags away. I'm going to get them off of me. It's time. Let today be the day that you say, no more. I'm throwing this baggage down. Because you see the station. It's not that far off. You see it. You just don't know how to get there. You've lost your way. Take one step forward, and then let your feet just keep moving towards your dreams, keep moving towards your goals. Don't be afraid. You know, we could talk all day about the different things that hold us back from accomplishing what we want in life. We don't have enough time. I just wanted to cover a couple of things. And because sexual abuse is so big, I want to focus just a few more minutes on that. I want you to encourage your children. to tell you when something traumatic, something bad, something evil has happened to them. Encourage them to talk to you and let them know that you're going to believe them. Let them know that you're there for them. And even teenagers, it's not always children, even your teenagers, be aware of where they're going, who they're going with. And for you adults out there that have those unresolved issues, please let it be today that you go get your help, that you get on the train. Let down the baggage and get on the train. Your destination is waiting for you. I'm just Candace. Join me on the next podcast. We're going to talk about the new year. What are you going to pursue? I'm going to tell you about something that happened to me, a business deal I lost, and how I created something new for myself. Let's talk some happy talk. I know this was a little serious today, but let's get into some happy talk. It's a new year. It's coming up. And it's there for the taking. What are you going to do in 2020 to be different? Let's talk again. Please join me. Until the next time, I wish you love, peace, joy, and all the happiness and success you can find in all of your endeavors. Good night.